I'm really excited to talk about the subject. The future of work is change. Today, we hear a lot that things are changing. It is not that the first time things are changing. We have been seeing for decades, centuries. The change has been always there. And if we say, in short, that only thing constant for centuries has been the change. This change is driven by three major factors. First, I will say it is technology and innovation, which is driving a huge change. Then comes economic development, which is happening across the globe, and now it has pace has picked up in Asia. And the third one is the climatic conditions, which are forcing us to change. I started my career in mid-90s. Within a couple of days of my joining my first company, I was given a project to buy a new computer for finance department. That particular time, Intel 486 just came into the market. It was having a RAM of 4 MB and hard disk of 200 MB. It was almost double the specification from the earlier computer, and it was costing a bomb. It was 1 lakh plus. We discussed a lot, but ultimately we decided to go for unbranded computer because that was not fitting into branded ones, were not fitting into our budget. From 90s to till now, if you see, there has been changes in the configurations of IT sector, computers especially or laptops, but the change has been slow. But whatever happens in last 2 decades, we can see almost 1,000 times change in the capacity, memory, or otherwise also specifications. And it will keep continuing. You can see that today even our cell phones are having much more capacity than the computers about a decade back. So coming back to the change which is happening, there has been few studies and predictions on the changes which are happening. And if you really see, there have been, I will say that there are a couple of predictions which are weighted quite heavily. First is by Bill Gates, who says that by 2035, there won't be any poor nations. And the second prediction, which is not by single person but by multiple people, within next 10 years, 75% of the roles which people are doing the workspace will undergo a big change. And 30% of these jobs will get eliminated. There won't be these kind of jobs. There is a McKinsey study which is in public domain. It was published before COVID, not very old, but it predicted something which will happen by 2030. It says that by 2030, only consumer sector consumption will create about 250 to 280 million additional jobs at global level. Additionally, deployment of technology and its development may create another 50 million. Health sector and education sector will additionally provide about 80 million additional jobs. There are many today jobs which are unpaid, but as countries progress, more female population start working, we'll see that almost 80 million jobs additionally can be created by this. Also, infrastructure and housing sector can create almost 50 million additional jobs. So things looks quite promising, but at the same time, it says that there will be job loss or change in the profile of the jobs by almost 400 million due to these all changes, mainly driven by technology and automation. Almost 400 to 800 million people around the globe has to change their job specifications because they will be displaced from their current roles. This means that though there are many opportunities, but same time everyone need to keep changing. So there's no alternative actually, because we need to reinvent and keep changing. What does these changes means? First, to workplace. As we can see that due to many reasons, technology is definitely the forefront, but recent COVID also is pushing workplace changes in a big way. The current processes will definitely change, the way of working will change, but at the same time, there will be less infrastructure deployed by the companies, corporations for for sitting capacity. People will be working remotely. At least in countries like India, it will fuel growth in B, C cities and remote areas. Economic development also means that it will create huge new opportunities in consumption, infrastructure, and other sectors. Only India is expected to grow from 3 trillion economy to maybe triple of this size another 10 to 12 years. That means that this will create opportunities like we have not seen in the past. But at the same time, as I said, that technology is changing, things are changing. Automation is driving many changes. So what does it mean to people? People, employees, has to keep skilling themselves. They have to take new skills, absorb new technologies. Same time, it is very important that they unskill themselves from the past. They have to give away the past so that they can go ahead with the time. That is one part. Secondly, the new generation may have to change their career multiple times. We have been lucky that for a couple of decades we are having the same department, same function. But as the skills requirement will keep changing, new generation may find that they will have multiple careers, multiple options. Though options will be multiple, but they have to keep changing. They may not be that lucky to be in the same career for multiple years. This is also become important that as we say that because remote working may be a norm in future, so we'll see that various organizations had to fit with the requirements to enable skill bringing up from these remote areas. That may be applicable more in service sector, though manufacturing we can't do much. They have to be deployed at the same place. But this is something which is already happening. Experience may not count much because it will be more upskilling, and the kind of skills you are possessing will remain important. Organizations need to build a right strategy to cope with these changes. First, definitely, is that organizations do not change unless people do. So they have to select right people, make a right strategy, but at the same time, strategy is not only the thing, execution is the key. For that, they need the right people. Second is that they have to keep rediscovering the processes. There will be new processes, they have to reach to the customer in the new ways, and keep changing these from time to time. IT deployment and absorption of IT is very important, and that they have to, every company need to invest heavily in these. Whether it is AI or RPAs or otherwise, there are many new technologies which are coming up, but we still remain, from investment point of view, quite behind in absorption of IT. As I said that there will be economic development, but at the same time, the share of Europe and USA will keep going down in GDP. Next couple of decades, it will more coming up from Asia, then it may move to Africa countries. There will be issues like aging population in many countries. So it may happen that increase in GDP may come only from productivity improvement. Multiple technologies like whether it is self-driving cars or drones or maybe AI in multiple areas, robotics, automation. So this also means that there will be sea change in some of the sectors. Just for example, if we take supply chain only, if drones development happens very fast, that means that supply chain sector can go a sea change in coming decade. There are thousands and thousands of people employed in the supply sector. They have to think otherwise a different way to how they will be employable again. Same with self-driven cars. It is coming up very fast, and that also means that not only you need less drivers, but also that means that car ownership may get very reduced. So the car market may be very different after 5 or 6 years from today's level. Corporations need to also consider that technology will also bring risks. That means that they have to ensure that whatever data security risk or otherwise privacy risk or whatever compliance and other things are required, they are complied with that, and they ensure that they are very capable to take care of this risk. This require again huge investment. Another thing we pointed out earlier, that climatic conditions may force us to make changes. This is already happening, and it may keep going. Various countries may have regulations to ensure that they comply with the global norms, and that means that we have to change our behavior, change our way of working, whether it is at workplace or at home, in a very different way. Each company, each service sector, each production company is very different. Corporation need to observe the trends, see the market gaps, and change their strategy according to the requirements. They have to keep reinventing themselves every time, because the changes will be quite fast. We have seen in the past that many companies just collapsed in a couple of years. Examples are many, like Nokia or Kodak or like this, because they could not see the future, what is coming. Changes have been quite fast. And as I said, that it is people who drive the change. Execution is the key. Unless we have got the right people, we're not able to take care of requirement of the future. In the summary, I will say that there are huge opportunities which are coming up with these changes, and these opportunities are for everyone. But at the same time, we need to keep reinventing ourselves and be agile to take care of the future requirements. I'm also thankful to DLC for inviting me for this talk, and it was really pleasure speaking here. Thank you.